Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, the place where we help you learn English and grow as a person one episode at a time. I'm Sarah, your host for today.
And I'm Henry, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us. Whether you're at home, on the bus, walking your dog, or maybe procrastinating on something important, this episode is definitely for you.
That's right, because today we're talking about a big topic, something that affects everyone: how to stop laziness and control wasting your life.
Now that sounds serious, huh?
It does. But don't worry, we'll keep it fun, simple, and conversational. This podcast is especially for English learners, so we'll speak clearly, explain ideas, and use real-life examples.
Exactly. And hey, let's be honest, we've all been lazy at times. We've all said things like, just 5 more minutes, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm not in the mood today.
Oh yes, I've said all of those many times. But the problem is, one lazy day turns into a lazy week, and before you know it, a whole month is gone. And that's when laziness becomes dangerous. It steals your time and your potential.
So, in today's episode, we'll talk about what laziness really is, why we feel lazy, how it can ruin our goals, and most importantly, how to overcome it and take control of your time and your life.
It's going to be super practical. So, if you've ever felt stuck, tired, or unmotivated, stay with us. You're not alone. And yes, you can change.
Also, grab a notebook if you want to write down some tips, and maybe even repeat some of the English expressions we'll use today to improve your speaking.
Love that. All right, are you ready?
Let's go. Let's talk about laziness and how to leave it behind.
Okay, Henry, let's get into it. First question, what is laziness, really? Is it just doing nothing?
Great question. I think most people think laziness means just lying on the couch and doing nothing. But actually, it's deeper than that. Laziness is when you know you should do something, but you avoid it. You delay it. You escape from it.
Exactly. Laziness is not rest. Rest is healthy. Laziness is when you avoid your responsibilities, even when you have the time or energy.
Yes, imagine this. You need to study, or exercise, or clean your room. You're not sick. You're not tired. But instead, you just scroll your phone or binge watch a series because, well, you don't feel like it.
We've all been there, and honestly, it's a normal human feeling. But here's the danger. When laziness becomes a habit, it starts controlling your life.
Right. It becomes a pattern. One lazy day isn't a problem. But when it becomes every day, suddenly you're behind on your goals. You feel bad about yourself. You say, "Where did my week go?"
So true. And sometimes people confuse laziness with burnout or lack of motivation. But they're different.
Yeah, good point. If you're burned out, you need real rest. That's not laziness. That's your body and mind asking for recovery.
Exactly. But laziness is more like your brain saying, let's stay in the comfort zone. Let's do what feels easy.
Let's use a simple English expression here. Laziness is a thief of time.
Yes, I love that phrase. It means laziness steals your time quietly. You don't even notice until it's gone.
And I'll add this. Laziness is often a sign of something deeper. Maybe fear, maybe self-doubt, maybe lack of clarity.
We'll talk about those things soon. But just to summarize, laziness is not about being bad or weak. It's about what we choose to focus on.
Exactly. And the good news is, if laziness is a habit, then discipline can be a habit too.
That's why we're doing this episode. So now that we understand what laziness is, let's ask, why do we feel lazy? What's really going on when we don't want to take action?
Great transition, Sarah. Let's break that down next. All right, so we just talked about what laziness is. Now, the next big question is, why do we feel lazy in the first place?
Great question. A lot of people think laziness means someone is just bad or lazy by nature, but that's not true. There's always a reason behind it.
Yes, sometimes it's not about being lazy, it's about being overwhelmed. You look at a big task like learn English or start a business, and your brain says, that's too much. I don't know where to start.
That's a very common problem. When the task feels too big or unclear, we avoid it. That's not because we're lazy, it's because we feel stuck or even a little scared.
Let's give an example. Imagine someone wants to clean their whole house. They think, ugh, it'll take hours. So they do nothing. But if they said, let me just clean one table, boom, now they're moving.
Exactly. That's called procrastination, when you delay something because it feels too hard or boring.
And sometimes laziness is connected to fear.
Fear? Like what kind of fear?
Fear of failure. Fear of making mistakes. For example, some English learners don't practice speaking because they're afraid of sounding silly.
Oh, yes, that's very common. You think, what if people laugh at me? Or what if I make a mistake? So instead of trying, you avoid it. That looks like laziness, but really it's fear.
Also, there's the problem of low energy. If you're not sleeping well, eating poorly, or staring at screens all day, you'll feel lazy, even if you want to be productive.
Absolutely. The brain and body are connected. If your body feels tired, your brain says, let's not do anything today.
And let's not forget one more cause: distractions. We live in a world full of them: phones, social media, endless notifications.
Yep, 1 minute you're checking a message, the next minute it's been 40 minutes on TikTok or Instagram, and afterward you feel guilty or frustrated, and even more lazy.
So just to recap quickly, here are 5 big reasons people feel lazy. Overwhelm. The task feels too big. Fear of failure, judgment, or mistakes. Lack of energy. Poor sleep, diet, or health. Distractions, like social media and phones. No clear goal. You don't know why you're doing something.
Yes, that last one is so important. If you don't have a clear reason to take action, you won't feel motivated.
But the good news is, all of these causes can be managed. You can learn to take control.
And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. Let's look at the real cost of laziness. What happens when we don't take action?
Stick with us. We're just getting started.
All right, now that we understand why people feel lazy, let's talk about something really important. What does laziness actually cost us? What do we lose when we keep delaying and avoiding?
Oof, big question. Laziness can seem harmless at first, right? Oh, I'll just relax today. I'll do it tomorrow. But if you keep saying that day after day, it adds up.
Yes, here's a simple truth. When you waste time, you're wasting your life. Time is life. We only get so much of it.
Exactly. And once a day is gone, you can't get it back. Imagine this. You spend 3 hours every day on your phone doing nothing. That's 21 hours a week. That's almost a full day. Gone.
Wow, that's huge. Let's do the math for fun. If you waste just 2 hours a day over a year, that's over 700 hours. Imagine what you could do with 700 hours.
You could learn a new skill, start a side business, get in shape, read dozens of books, or finally speak English fluently.
But instead, if you waste that time being lazy, you get nothing, just regret. And here's the sad part. Most people don't even realize they're wasting time until it's too late.
Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I wanted to write a book. I had the idea. I had the time. But I kept saying, hey, I'll start next week. Guess what? 1 week became 2 months. 2 months became a year. And I had written nothing.
Oh no, what changed?
Honestly, I realized I was feeling bad about myself. Every time I avoided writing, I felt guilty. And that guilt made me feel more stuck. It wasn't until I started small, just 15 minutes a day, that I finally made progress.
That's a great example. And I think many listeners can relate. Because here's the truth. Laziness doesn't just waste time, it steals your confidence.
Yes, you start feeling like, I can't do anything, I'm lazy, I'm not good enough. But that's not true. You just fell into a habit. And habits can change.
Another hidden cost is missed opportunities. Maybe you wanted to apply for a job, but you waited too long. Or you wanted to improve your English, but never practiced. Now, you're still in the same place while others moved forward.
It's like standing still while the rest of the world keeps walking. Time keeps moving, with or without you.
Exactly. And one more thing laziness affects is your relationships. If you keep saying, I'll call them later, or I'm too tired to meet up, you start losing connection with people.
So true. And those are moments you can't get back. So when you think, it's just one lazy day, remember, those days add up, and the cost is your future.
But don't worry, this isn't meant to make anyone feel bad. It's just a wake-up call. Because the sooner we see the cost of laziness, the faster we can make a change.
Yes, and the good news is, there are many ways to fight back. Coming up next, we'll share practical, step-by-step tips to stop being lazy and start taking action.
Stay with us. You won't want to miss this part. All right, now it's time for the most important part of the episode. How do we stop being lazy and take back control of our time and life?
Yes, because just knowing that laziness is a problem is not enough. We need a game plan. We need real, simple steps that actually work.
Exactly. And don't worry, friends, we're going to break it down into easy, step-by-step tips that you can start using today. Step 1. Break big tasks into small ones.
This one is huge. A lot of the time, people feel lazy because the task feels too big. Like, I have to study English for 2 hours. That sounds heavy, right?
Totally. But what if you just say, I'll study for 10 minutes? Suddenly your brain says, okay, I can do that.
Small steps are less scary. And once you start, it's easier to keep going. Remember this phrase: start small, stay consistent. Step 2. Make a simple daily plan.
Here's another powerful tip. Make a plan the night before. Write down 3 simple things you want to do tomorrow. That's it. Just 3.
Yeah! Don't make a long list with 20 things. That's too much. Keep it realistic. Even something like, wake up at 7, do 15 minutes of exercise, read English for 10 minutes.
If you check those off, you feel productive. You build momentum. Step 3. Use timers. The Pomodoro technique.
Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique?
Yes, I love it. You set a timer for 25 minutes and focus on just one task. Then you take a 5-minute break. It's perfect for people who get distracted easily.
Totally. I use it for writing. 25 minutes feels short, so I don't feel overwhelmed. And the break gives your brain time to rest. Step 4. Remove distractions.
This one's important. If your phone is constantly buzzing, it's hard to focus. So when you want to work, put your phone on silent or even in another room.
Or use apps that block social media for a while. You can also create a quiet space, even a small corner, where you only focus.
Train your brain to say, "This is my focus time." Step 5. Reward yourself.
Yes, motivation increases when you add rewards. For example, if I finish this task, I'll treat myself to a nice coffee. Or I'll watch one episode of my favorite show.
It sounds simple, but it works. You're training your brain. Do the work, get the reward. Step 6. Get an accountability partner.
Here's a great idea. Don't go alone. Find a friend, sibling, or even a coworker who checks in on you.
Yes, tell them, "Hey, I'm going to write 1 page today," or "I'll study for 20 minutes. Then they can ask, "Did you do it?"
It keeps you honest, and sometimes just knowing someone is watching makes you more likely to follow through. Step 7. Change your self-talk.
This is deep but important. Many people keep saying to themselves, "I'm lazy. I never finish anything. I'm just not motivated."
That negative self-talk becomes a belief, and beliefs shape behavior.
So instead, start saying, "I can start small. I'm building better habits I can change."
Yes, even just saying, "I'm the kind of person who takes action," changes your mindset. Step 8. Start your day with one win.
Do something productive in the first hour of your day, right after you wake up. It could be making your bed, drinking water, reading 1 page. It tells your brain, "We're starting the day strong."
I love that. Win the morning, and you win the day. Here's a bonus tip I personally love. It's called the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately.
Oh yes, like sending a message, putting your clothes away, or writing 1 sentence.
It clears your mind, and you feel productive without even trying hard. Final message for this section.
So just to recap, there are many ways to fight laziness. Start small, plan your day, use timers, avoid distractions, reward yourself, ask for support, change your mindset, win your morning.
Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Small steps every day lead to big changes over time.
And we believe in you. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already on the right track.
Coming up next, we'll talk about something really powerful: motivation versus discipline. Which one should you focus on? And why?
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, we've talked about practical tips to fight laziness. But now, let's get into something deeper. Motivation versus discipline.
Yes, a lot of people say, "I just don't feel motivated." But here's the truth. You don't need to feel motivated to take action.
Boom! Exactly. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. One day you feel excited, and the next day, nothing.
Right. It's like the weather. Some days are sunny, some days are cloudy. You can't depend on motivation. That's where discipline comes in.
Let's define it simply. Motivation is wanting to do something. Discipline is doing it, even when you don't want to.
Yes, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. For example, I don't always feel like going to the gym, but I've made it a habit, so I go, even on the lazy days.
And afterwards, you feel proud, right?
Totally. You never regret doing the right thing, but you do regret skipping it.
And afterwards, you feel proud, right? So if you're listening right now and thinking, "I want to change, but I'm not motivated," that's okay. Start anyway. Discipline is what carries you forward when motivation is missing.
And here's the cool part. When you take action, even a small one, you often create motivation.
Yes, that's so true. Action comes before motivation, not the other way around.
So remember this simple idea. Don't wait to feel ready. Just get started. Let discipline lead the way.
Well said, Henry. Coming up next, we're going to help you take all this knowledge and turn it into a personal action plan.
So stick around, because real change is just a few steps away.
Okay, we're getting close to the finish line. But before we talk about building your personal plan, let's address a big enemy of progress: distractions.
Oh, yes, distractions are everywhere. And in today's world, they're harder than ever to avoid.
Phones, apps, notifications, social media, emails. It's like the world is always yelling for your attention.
And here's the thing, most people don't even notice how much time they're losing. You pick up your phone just for 5 minutes, and suddenly, boom, it's been 40 minutes.
Totally. Let's talk about some of the biggest time wasters we see today. Common time wasters.
Number 1, social media scrolling. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. They're designed to keep you watching.
Yes, the algorithm is made to grab your attention and hold it, and it's not evil, but if you don't control it, it controls you.
Next, constant notifications. Every time your phone vibrates or dings, it breaks your focus.
And how about multitasking? You think you're doing 3 things at once, but really, you're doing all of them poorly. How to avoid distractions.
All right, let's talk about how to fight back. Because we're not here just to complain. We're here to take action. Tip 1, turn off notifications.
It sounds simple, but it works. Turn off all non-important notifications. You don't need to know every time someone likes a post. Tip 2, set app limits.
You can use tools on your phone to set time limits for apps. For example, allow yourself 15 minutes on Instagram per day. Then it locks automatically.
It creates a healthy boundary. You're still using your favorite apps, but with control. Tip 3, use focus time blocks.
Try setting a timer, maybe 25 or 30 minutes, and tell yourself, for the next half hour, no distractions. Just focus. Then take a short break after.
That's the Pomodoro technique we mentioned earlier, and it works beautifully. Tip 4, create a clean work environment. If your desk or study space is messy and full of distractions, you'll feel distracted. So keep it clean and simple, one task at a time, one open tab at a time. Tip 5, use distraction journaling.
This one's a bit different. Keep a small notebook or app, and every time you feel like checking your phone or switching tasks, write it down. You'll start to see patterns, when and why you get distracted.
That's powerful. Self-awareness is the first step to self-control.
So here's the big idea. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware and make better choices, one at a time.
Your time is your life, and every time you protect your focus, you protect your future.
Well said, Sarah. Up next, we'll help you create your own simple, personal plan to take back control of your time and energy.
Let's do it. All right, now that we've talked about fighting laziness, avoiding distractions, and building habits, let's take a moment to look at the bigger picture.
Yes, because here's a question we all need to ask ourselves. What kind of life do I want to live?
Exactly. We're not just trying to be busy for the sake of being busy. We want to live with purpose, with direction.
And that means being clear about your values. What truly matters to you? Is it health, family, growth, freedom, learning English to get a better job?
When you know your values, it's easier to say yes to the right things and no to the distractions.
Here's a quick exercise. Think of your ideal future. Where are you living? Who are you with? What kind of work do you do? How do you spend your time?
Now ask yourself, are my daily habits helping me move toward that life or pulling me away from it?
Powerful question, right? Because every small action matters. Your future isn't built in one day, it's built day by day.
And here's the good news. You don't need to figure it all out today. You just need to start living with intention. Be a little more mindful, a little more focused, a little more brave.
So remember, you're not just escaping laziness. You're designing a life you can be proud of.
One choice at a time, one step at a time. You've got this.
And we're right here with you. Coming up next, our final thoughts and a challenge to help you move forward with energy and clarity.
Let's finish strong. Before we wrap up today's episode, we thought we'd answer a few common questions we often get from our listeners.
Yes, these are questions from real people, just like you, who are trying to fight laziness, stay focused, and live a more meaningful life. Q1. What if I keep starting things, but never finish them?
Oof, that's a big one. And it's super common. The key is to start smaller. Don't try to finish everything perfectly. Just focus on finishing something, even a tiny part.
Yes, set a mini goal. Instead of, I'll study English for 2 hours, say, I'll study 1 page. Finishing small things gives you confidence. Q2. I feel tired all the time. Is that laziness? Good question. And the answer is, not always. Sometimes what looks like laziness is actually burnout, poor sleep, bad nutrition, or stress.
So ask yourself, am I sleeping enough? Am I drinking water? Am I moving my body during the day?
Taking care of your body helps your mind stay sharp and active. Q3. How do I stay consistent?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Consistency comes from systems, not just motivation.
Yes, build a routine. Do it at the same time, in the same place, with the same steps. Habits are easier when they're automatic.
And if you miss a day, it's okay. Just get back on track tomorrow.
All right, that's it for today's questions. If you have one you'd like us to answer, send us a message or comment under this episode.
We love hearing from you. And remember, your question could help someone else too.
Coming up next, our final message and a simple weekly challenge to keep you moving forward.
Let's finish strong. Wow, Henry, what an episode. We covered so much today about laziness, why it happens, its costs, and most importantly, how to fight it.
Yes, Sarah. And remember, laziness isn't a bad word. It's just a signal that something needs to change.
That's right. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, I need a new plan or a fresh start.
So what can you take away from today's episode? Here are 3 big ideas.
Number 1, start small and keep it simple. Small actions add up to big change.
Number 2, focus on discipline, not just motivation. Discipline will keep you moving even when motivation fades.
And number 3, live with purpose. Know what matters most to you and make your daily choices count.
Remember, every day is a new chance to grow, to improve, to take back your time and your life.
And you don't have to do it all at once. Take it step by step and celebrate every win, no matter how small.
We believe in you, and we're here cheering you on every step of the way.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of English Learning Podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who might need it.
And until next time, stay motivated, stay disciplined, and keep designing your best life.
See you soon!
And that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you found some helpful tips and motivation to fight laziness and take control of your life.
Remember, change takes time, but every small step counts. Keep going and don't give up.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Your support means the world to us.
Also, send us your questions or topic ideas. We love hearing from you.
Thanks for listening to the English Learning Podcast. See you in the next episode.
Bye for now.